Hello everyone, welcome to this video by DataSense. Today we will talk about one-hot encoding, a very important concept when it comes to machine learning, when it comes to data pre-processing, when it comes to textual embedding. So this is a very important concept. So in this video, I'll be talking about what is one-hot encoding, what exactly it is. I'm very sure a lot of you guys would have heard about it, but you don't know exactly what it is, right? Second, why is it required? Okay, there is something, but why do we need to do that, right? So you need to have an answer to that. And the third thing we'll be doing, how to do it, how to actually do one-hot encoding in whatever format you're in, whatever Python, SQL, or whatever thing you do, how to do it. So this is the objective of this particular video. Please watch the video till the end and subscribe to DataSense for more such videos. Okay, so now let's begin with the conceptual understanding of one-hot encoding. Before that, let's try to understand one thing, that how machines work. So for example, let us say there is a machine. It could be your computer, it could be your tablet, it could be your phone, anything, right? Now, what happens in machine learning? That you have some sort of data which is coming from a source, right? You have a data which is coming from a source. You feed this data into machine and you ask it to interpret what it is exactly, right? And then machines try to predict values based on your informant data. Now, let us say you have the first data that is incoming. It is a text numerical data. So for example, let's say there are three numbers, 2, 4, 6. You're passing 2, 4, 6 into your machine. Now, when you pass this, for example, whenever you input three numbers in Excel or in a Python, in a SQL, right? By default, machine will try to interpret this. And what it will interpret, it will say, let's say what all interpretations it will do. It will say that 6 is the largest number, right? By default, it will understand because these all are numerical numbers. Second, it will say that, okay, average of these three numbers are 2 plus 4, 6 plus 8. So the average of these numbers is 4, right? It will also understand that 2 is the smallest number. 2 is smallest number. So without even telling machine, whenever you input a data, machine automatically tries to predict, because machine only deals in 0 and 1s only. It converts them into binary numbers and it reads the interpretation between these numbers and it takes some inferences out of it. So this is how a machine works with the numerical data. But let us say we have a second scenario here, that let's say we have a text data. So for example, I enter the word data science. Okay, now when I enter the word data science, the problem with machine is that it does not have the capacity to directly infer what does data mean, what does science means, right? So this is a field which is generally called NLP, where we train machines to understand the text. But how do we make machines understand, okay, data means something, science means something? So there comes a very big concept which is called one-hot encoding. So what does one-hot encoding mean? So it technically is a kind of encoding. Encoding means converting a text into a form of numbers, let's say 0, 1, 2, 3, or some kind of embeddings, which machine can eventually read your text. So this is called one-hot encoding. Whenever you have some data, this is called one-hot encoding that you need to do, that you need to pre-process your data on to make machines understand. Now I will walk you through let's say a real-time example just in a minute. So I hope you guys understand the basic structure, that why one-hot encoding is required or what is one-hot encoding. Now let's see this particular data. So we have three columns here. We have a participant name, we have age, and we have favorite sport. So this is a character value, this is a character value, this is a numerical value, and this is another character value. Okay, now let's say this is my base data which I want to enter in a machine learning model. For example, here let's say this is my ML model. and I want it to interpret that okay, I see that participant Alice, there is some age. So what I can do, I can try to find out some average of the ages of the people which are here in the age. So what I'll do for average, I'll just sum all of them and I will divide by 1 2 3 4 5, right? So this will be average. I'll have a max, I will have a minimum, right? I will have a max, I will have a minimum. So my age is sorted. I will get to know. So machine will read, for example, that okay, Charlie is the eldest person, and Alice is the most youngest person, right? So this is what machine will interpret, but it cannot interpret my favorite sport. So what will I do? There are two methods which might come to your mind, that okay, let's do one thing. So the first method you might be thinking is that let's encode, like let's put soccer equal to 1, basketball equal to 2, and tennis equal to 3, right? You might be thinking like this. So for example, let's say I did soccer 1 and I create basketball 2, I create tennis 3, soccer 1, basketball 2. Okay. So let's say I did something like this in my data. Now, when and I change the favorite sport variable to this, right? Let's say my variable is favorite sport. Now, when you pass this variable in a machine learning, what it will interpret now? It will interpret that, for example, let's say it will start interpreting that the maximum sport is equal to 3. Right? Or it will start saying that tennis is the biggest sport, tennis is the highest sport, because tennis has the 3 value, right? It will start creating ranking, for example, in that particular case. And let us say it will say, okay, soccer is the least, basketball is 2, and it will start interpreting, okay, let the average of sports, of all sports, is what? It is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 1 plus 2 divided by 5. So 3 plus 2, 5, 6, 7, 9 by 5. So it will interpret that average of sports is 2, right? But I mean, does it mean anything? Because I'm saying that I'm passing a lot of variables and it is saying average of all sport is basketball. But technically that doesn't mean anything. Or for example, let's say it says that sum of all sports is equal to 9, right? What does 9 mean here? Do we know? We only encoded soccer, basket and tennis. And if I'm summing it, I'm saying that, okay, the sum of all sport is a different sport. So soccer plus basket plus tennis is equal to 9, and which is some other sport, for example, cricket. So it does not make sense, right? If I encode this particular, in this particular method. So for this, for whenever I have a categorical variable like state, countries, or sport, income status, those kind of variables, when you have some categories, like 3 categories, 5 categories, 4 categories, we try to create a different format, and that is called one-hot encoding. So how do we solve this particular problem? So how we, for categorical variables, how do we convert them into numerical variables? So the most useful method, the most commonly used method is one-hot encoding. So what we do is we create dummy variables. We create some dummy variables, right? So here what we will do, so I'll create so I have total, I will see how many variables do I have. So I have soccer, basketball, tennis. So I have total 3 categories, right? So what I will do, because I have 3 categories, I will create 3 dummy variables in that case. So one is for soccer, one is for basketball, and one is for tennis. So what I will do here, I will create a value soccer, variable soccer. I'll create a variable basketball, and I'll create a variable tennis. Okay, so just let me format it a little bit. Okay, and just let me, okay, so I have 3 variables now. So what do I enter in these variables? So what I have to do, whenever this particular variable is, for example, I'll go line by line. Now let's say whenever I have whatever value I have, I'll place that as 1, I'll put other as 0. So for soccer, I'll get 1, basketball will be 0, and tennis will be 0. For basketball, soccer will be 0, basketball will be 1, tennis will be 0, right? And tennis, it will be 0, 0, 1. Similarly, 1, 0, 0, and it will be 0, space 1, space 0. So this is how we will create the value. Now question might arise that how will machine read this particular value? How is this particular thing useful? So what exactly is going to happen here, that whenever you are going to pass this thing in a machine learning model, it is going to take this way. So we will actually drop this particular variable whenever we pass into the model. It will see a soccer variable and it will see 1, 0. So by intuition, it will understand, okay, that for this particular variable, for these two rows, soccer has a value 1, and for other it is 0. So it will just understand, okay, there is a category which is existing and which is not existing. So it will mark it as 1 and 0. Similarly for basketball, similarly for tennis. And when you pass into the machine learning model now, it will try to, it will give you better results. So this is called a better data pre-processing, and this is called one-hot encoding, what I was talking about. So what do you exactly do here in one-hot encoding? First of all, you take the categorical variable. You try to understand how many categories are there. So for example, let us say there are k categories. So what you do, you create k dummy variables. So you create k dummy variables. These are called dummy variables because these were not present originally in the data set. You have created them, right? So that's why these are called dummy variables. And now you will drop the main variable, and you will add these k variables in your data sets with the value either 0 or 1. Okay, and this is how your machine will take the value, interpret the value. Now there is another thing called dummy variable trap, but it is not related to this video. I'll speak about it in a later video. Just right now understand that. So for example, whatever categories you have, you just have to create those many dummy variables, and for each dummy variable you have to encode either 1 or 0 depending upon whatever the value is here. So this is what we have to do here. Now I will switch to Python to show you how exactly it is done in Python. Okay, so we are back in Python. Now I'll walk you through this code. I will attach this particular code in the description of this video. You can download and run yourself as well. But let me walk you through and show you how exactly this table will be built and how one-hot encoding will be done. So the first is that you take pandas, right? Because you need to convert your data. So I'm creating a dummy data here. So what I'm doing, I'm taking pandas, right? And from tabulate, I'm just creating a table because I'll be creating a table format. So I have to enter my values. For participant, I entered name, age, I entered name, favorite sport, I entered all, like whatever we saw in Excel just a few minutes back. Now we'll display the original data in a tabular format. And so for that, tabulate is used. We have to provide headings and table format as pretty. I mean, you can change it. So you can read about that. So when you run this particular, see, we have this data set here: participant, age, favorite, sport. So we have got things now. Now we want to convert this into a do an one-hot encoding into this particular data set. So now how to do one-hot encoding is from the scikit-learn. You must have heard this library, scikit-learn.preprocessing. We import this one-hot encoder. So there is a particular class one-hot encoder available in scikit-learn, which we will be importing from there. Now again, I'm creating this particular data set and displaying them. Now here I'm creating an instance of one-hot encoder. So I'm creating a variable known as one encoder equal to one-hot encoder, and some setting I'm doing here, sparse equal to false. Then I'm fitting it. So you must know that whenever you have an object, you fit and transform it, right? And on what variable do I need to do one-hot encoding? I need to do on favorite sport. So here I'm passing that particular variable that I need to encode encode by using fit and transform on favorite sport. Okay, then I do convert the encoded data back to a data frame, because we cannot see the encoded data in the right format. So I'm converting it back to a data frame. So that is what I did here. and concatenate everything. It's a very simple Python code. Like I will share this particular thing with you. So this is the intuition. You take the data, you take the variable, you create an instance of encoder here, and you pass it to that particular variable, and you just display it into the pandas data frame. Now if I run this particular code, we will see that how this is done. So the first is your table and participant, age, favorite sport, and then this is your encoded data. So we have removed the favorite sport variable. So we have added 3 particular variables: favorite sport basketball, favorite sport soccer, favorite sport tennis, and it is 0 1 0 0 1 0 0. And this is how data is actually fed into any machine learning model. And this is how it is exactly read. And this is done to all the categorical variables, be it your, as I mentioned, income, country, state, or whatever kind of things are there. So this was a quick explainer of how one-hot encoding is done. I'll be covering this in entire depth in the ML bootcamp, which Data Sense is going to launch very soon in July or August. So stay tuned to our channel, watch our videos, and stay tuned whenever ML bootcamp comes. Try to register for that, and you will have like many such things there. We'll try to understand how data pre-processing work, how any machine learning model works, and we'll go set up our base from a basic ML model to whole to generative AI. So again, thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to it and stay tuned to Data Sense. We have a lot of things coming for you guys, so stay tuned. Thanks a lot.